Hi, and welcome to another episode of Creating Through Crisis. I'm Alicia Culp, and I'm a leadership and transitions coach. And I feel particularly thankful right now that I get to do the work that I love to do, coaching and connecting with other leaders in our community. One of the things that I love so much is to hear leaders' stories and listen for those like little nuggets of wisdom that come out in our conversation. It's like those little things that I write down and listen for. And they usually inspire me. And at the same time, I think it's really beneficial for them to be able to hear their own stories and reflect back and see how far that they've grown. So during this time of so much uncertainty and rapid change, I wondered how this environment was impacting other leaders' values. And one of the values was the one of creativity. And so for many leaders, this is near the top of their list. It may be that it's the way that they create something, maybe the experience that their clients have, or it's their unique decision making that allows them to sustain their business right now. Either way, I wanted to shine a light on those leaders that are inspiring to me. Hopefully they will be inspiring to you as well, and really connect us during this time. So my next guest, I actually met her when I served on her advisory panel through the Athena PowerLink program that's a partnership with Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida. Her tagline of her business is made with love from scratch. And that speaks to the emotional connection that she has with the food that she creates, and also the team that helps her make it happen, and then the clients that support her business. She is, an indomitable spirit. She's not going to let this current situation take her down. And she really works hard and has an attention to detail. And all those things make her the perfect guest. So please join me in welcoming our next guest, CEO and Executive Chef, Kim Pearson of Pearson's Catering. Hi, Kim. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Alicia. It's a privilege to be talking with you today, and I'm quite flattered that you have invited me to be a guest.
You're welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And I know it's extremely busy right now. So just thankful that we could take some time together. So could you just, for everybody's benefit, kind of give a little bit of background about your career and how you started your business?
Sure. I have a degree from Florida State, bachelor's degree, and I didn't particularly like what I studied. So I went back to school and got a degree in culinary arts from Johnson & Wales, which is one of the most prestigious culinary schools in the world. Eventually, I wanted to get out of the business, and I took a job at the Fresh Market in Dr. Phillips area. And there I met a lady who had a conversation with me and asked me about myself, and I let her know about going to school and being a chef, and she got my phone number, and 6 weeks later she called me and asked me would I do a catered party for her birthday party. And I said sure, and here we are.
I could do that.
And really what's so humbling about it when I question myself during the hard times is it happened organically. I didn't set out to be a caterer. I just did what was in front of me. And every door I went through, it took me to where we are today. And that is something I cherish and hold on to, because sometimes it gets a little difficult. And I have to remember I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And this is what I love to do. I am so grateful to get to do what I enjoy every day.
It makes up for some of the long hours that I know you put in. How many years have you been in business now?
We've been in business 10 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. We've been in our current facility for 8 years. And prior to this, I operated out of a little 400 square foot duplex. So
tell us a little bit about that, because this is a family affair, right? Like a lot of startup businesses when you first start out, right? But you still have some family involved. And
I do. So when this lady asked me to do her birthday party, I was also in the middle of a personal reboot, if you will. And I was I was living with my parents. And my dad and my mom, they helped me. They'd help me load up the car. They'd help me prepare food. And when there were events that I couldn't get everything in my little two-door Toyota Corolla, my dad would put stuff in his car and go with me to jobs. And there were occasions where people knew who he was and what he did for a living, and they had a puzzled look on their face. Why was this physician all of a sudden catering events? So we always got quite a good laugh out of that. My husband, his mom and dad have helped us as well when we would do gift baskets, and each little thing had to be wrapped with a bow on it. They would sit at a table together and tie the bows, and just so blessed to have a family that is supportive, not only in words and in prayer, but in showing up and actually doing something physical. That's to me, that speaks volumes when somebody puts the footwork into their words.
They roll up their sleeves and jump in, right?
Exactly.
And obviously we're going through an unprecedented crisis, but I know you're also you've got some personal challenges right now, and then also the business challenges. And thought maybe early on while we're talking, you could share some of that because it's just relatable for other people.
So I do have some challenges, not with the business. It's we've lost 95% of our business. So what we did was we took an idea that I've had for years and thought, why not now? We've got plenty of time. So what we started was a whole different arm of Pearson's Catering, and it's called Pickup Gourmet. And it is for people who want to pick up individual meals. And it's been awesome to have the time to develop it, to get the recipes, to get the pricing, to get the packaging all in place. What's also beautiful is that we have not had to lay off any staff. I'm very proud of that.
Wonderful.
I am excited that my staff gets to come to work and they get to do what they enjoy because of Pickup Gourmet. They're not scrubbing the floors and painting. They are getting to cook. They're getting to talk to people. And it's also creating positive energy.
Be able to flip something, right? Look at it from a different perspective of, I'm sure that there are days, especially long days, where, you know, it can kind of drag, but you can look and say, but look what I created. Look what we did to be able to shift and keep those employees on staff and keep us fed. We're very thankful for that. You always add interesting things to your meals. There is that attention to detail that I know I appreciate, and I'm a lover of food. So you kind of get your equilibrium, like every other industry, like everything else, that you've been fortunate enough to have the business, to have things still coming in, and to be able to have made this turn to restructure the business that you you've been able to sustain to actually figure out how to make the process better. I know we were talking a few minutes ago about your weekend deliveries and how things, even on Mother's Day, sort of, you were able to kind of work through that, and it was a much more seamless process.
Right.
Yeah, right. I think you mentioned when we first talked, this is off camera, I think you said something about at first when you were doing this process, like catering, you can handle hundreds and hundreds of people, no problem. But when you switched over to this pickup process, it was totally different. It was a little bit like you were like Lucy and Ethel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's the interesting thing with the catering. I can feed 500 people in a matter of hours. Well, at the end of 8-hour day, feeding one person at a time, trying to figure out the packaging and running around trying to get things. My manager says to me, Kim, we're like Lucy and Ethel, the candy purveyor and food flying and trying to get it packaged up and keep up with it. What should we put it in? I don't know. Should we put it in this box? Should we put it in that box? It took so much more thought process.
Yeah.
And you want to deliver a product that's beautiful in a beautiful container. And then on top of that, not only is the food hard to come by right now, the to-go packaging, because everybody is doing to-go, is difficult to find the consistency. So I'm ordering from Amazon, I'm ordering from my purveyor, we're ordering from Restaurant Depot, and it's just been quite the challenge, and it's a lot more work for a lot less profit. And I knew that prior to actually practicing this, and that's why I always dragged my feet on it.
Yeah.
Because I knew what to expect. But it's a great opportunity to, as I said, get this positive energy going. But it does have challenges. This is not something we're doing just for right now. We intend on continuing to do this. And I think once everything settles down, people are still going to want a good meal at a reasonable price. And they can't always find that at the chains or the fast food places. And this can be something that offers something healthy, and maybe comfort food isn't always so healthy, but it's made with good quality ingredients. And for the price, I think that this is going to be an option for people down the road and when it gets back to normal. That's what I'm counting on.
I agree. Some of it's getting your name out there and making sure people know, because you've been known for the catering space, that this pickup opportunity. I love the emails that come out. The ordering process is easy. And the food is good. Ultimately, that's really right.
Oh, yeah.
The food and the presentation. The food and the presentation, because everything else.
Right. And, I just think it's a really neat opportunity, because what I always wanted to have was who's got what I want? Like, at the end of the day, I don't want to cook for myself, but where do I go to get something that's quality food, something that's tasty, and it's not $60?
Right.
And I can't find that person. And so why can't I do that? Why not me?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think that's the other part that's very difficult, is the name recognition, getting our name out there. It just takes so long. We haven't been around like some of the other catering people that have been around 25 and 30 years that have the name recognition that we don't have. And so it takes extra perseverance, extra toughness, extra positivity to keep going.
Yeah. In the introduction, I mentioned the Athena Power Link, and I know you have had other women and groups that have really helped shape you. So, and really lifted you up, kind of, and supported your business. So if you'll maybe tell us a little bit about that, like what that impact has been on collaborating with other women, and maybe how has it helped in the name recognition as well for you, for your business?
So, when we spoke the other day, I was talking to you about the women who have impacted my life in such a giant way. And unfortunately, they're no longer here with us. And I will always remember Kennedy Lonham hiring me to do that first party. And she still lives on in my life. She's not here with us, but she still lives in my heart. And she's the reason I'm here today, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then I have Betty Stewart, who introduced me to Florida Executive Women. And that's where I got to meet Judy Awesome and other women who are so supportive. And I didn't think that I belonged there. I'm just a chef. These ladies are executives, and they're lawyers, and they're accountants and CPAs, and what do we have in common? Well, I came to find that we all have a lot in common. It doesn't matter what we do for a profession. We face the same challenges on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And because of Florida Executive Women and Judy Awesome, I got to be a part of Athena. It took me 3 years of interviewing, and I finally got to be a client, and it changed my life. I didn't understand how it would, but it did. It changed my life in ways that I approach my business that I didn't understand or I didn't know, because what I know is about cooking. I don't know about accounting and how to do a P&L and how to do the infrastructure and how to have a website. And I learned all of that there. And it changed how we operate this business. And all the infrastructure is in place now, thanks to Athena. And then I got to meet you because of Athena.
Yeah.
And so many others, and magazine articles that have been written. The other group that I'm involved in is called We Entrepreneurs, and it's for women CEOs. So I'm around this wonderful group of women. There's 23 of us, and we're all own our own business.
Wonderful.
And I learn from them all the time, but it all started from that one person who invited me to go to Florida Executive Women Luncheon.
And you saying yes, and you taking that opportunity, right?
Yes.
Sure.
I was fearful. I was afraid, and I still get afraid. And I think I choose to do it in spite of being fearful. Do it in spite of, maybe I'm not going to do it perfectly or look perfectly, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a whirl. And that hope will pay off in the long run. And that's what keeps us bogged down as women, I think, is we're so worried about doing it right, or do we look right, or all that noise can keep me from being successful.
Right. Hold you back.
Exactly.
Start telling yourself a story in your own head that starts to hold you back. So the more you can just step into it and be open to those opportunities, the better off you are, it sounds like. That's good advice.
Yeah. I think what happens to me is I can stay busy 24/7. My husband will say, "Are you almost done?" And I'll say, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I could still be working till midnight. But so it's easy to find reasons not to go out into the world. It's easy to do that. But what I've learned from being in these groups is it's all about connecting with others. And when I take time and stop what I'm doing and go out and connect with other business women, I realize I'm not alone. And I get to hear the nice things they have to say and the support they have to offer, that I can't get there all alone up in this head of the lie that my head is telling me that I don't belong. And when I get to be around people like you tell me otherwise. And it gives me some energy and some chutzpah to go back and keep plugging along. So that, I think, is immeasurable.
That's so well said. That's just fabulous. I mean, that is what it's all about as you get out there and you're questioning yourself, when you can have other women that help support you and lift you up. So that's awesome. Awesome way to put it. When you're talking about the hours that you've worked, the challenges that you've gone through, even what made me think of it is when you said something about, you've got to get out there. You've worked a long day and you may want to just kind of stay home or to put yourself out there. What are the things that you're doing right now or you've done to just practice that self-care, practice things that keep you healthy? I think it would be interesting for other people to hear the things that have worked for you.
I think, it's funny. Cooking for myself and my husband is quite the challenge. And everybody thinks that's just so silly. They say, why can't you just put something aside? I don't want to eat what I've been looking at all day. I really don't. And I don't want to wash a dish, and I don't want to stand another second. So what I've learned to do is to plan. And I've been cooking for us and trying to be more healthy in what I eat instead of whatever I can just throw in my mouth. And it makes me feel better because I'm practicing self-care. What I've done differently now, because I can't go out, I can't go to the gym, as I work out every morning. I get up, I spend about an hour meditating, being quiet, writing a list of things that I'm grateful for. And the list looks quite different than it did 6 months ago. Like toilet paper, paper towels, money in the bank.
That's
you know,
right.
all those things that sometimes we as Americans take for granted. I have that on my list. So for a long time, I've always heard about meditation, but I always thought it was like, one of those things. Yeah, like one of those flighty things. And so I'm around these very, very successful women who have built $1 million businesses, and they meditate. So I thought maybe there's something to it. Just maybe. I might be wrong and they might be right. So you know what? It turns out that they're right.
Yeah. There's something to that.
There's something to it. It's a chemical thing that happens for somebody that like me, who's very passionate and a reactor. It helps me slow down. It helps me just have peace that I didn't have before. So I do that every morning. I take as much time as I need. Sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's an hour, and sometimes I just sit in a quiet and drink coffee.
So happy with that coffee, so happy, right?
Nobody's asking me a question. I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm just still. And being still is a beautiful thing with a quiet mind. And that in itself is a miracle for this girl. It really is. There's a lot of noise that goes on up there sometimes, but I don't think that I'm any different. If people are really honest about themselves, that would be the case. Or maybe it's not even honest. Maybe it's just an awareness that I have about myself, that I'm able to step back and go, oh, this is how I'm feeling today. Wonder what that's about. And what can I do to either appreciate it or acknowledge that I feel sad today, or I feel happy today, or whatever it is. I think that maybe I'm different. I don't know. But after I sit
again, that's so well said. That's exactly. What a great thing to just be curious about it. It just sounds like you're just kind of like, I wonder what's going on here.
Yeah, I used to judge all that stuff, and that's not a good thing too either, because judging myself has never worked. It's not a positive activity.
It's not useful, for the brain cells.
Great. So I have all my stuff coming in an hour later because I can't leave now. So I do my meditation, and then I spend about an hour exercising. And that is so good for me. It's the discipline of it. And it gets that endorphins going and all positive energy that I need to grab from every place that I can grab it right now. Because my feeling is, if I go to the depressive or the negative, it's like a magnet. I think negativity, it just, when I start focusing on negative, it's just like it attracts all the negative that's out there. Exactly. And I don't want to do that. I have people here that are relying on us to pay them so they can feed their families. They can make their car payment, so they can make their mortgage payment. That's just a wee bit stressful. Yes. And they don't need me to be negative. They need me to be positive because I'm their leader. And I want this to be a positive place for them to come. It's not always positive because life is life, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes we just have to be who we are. And that's what I love about the team that I have right now is we're all authentic. What you see is what you get. And if somebody's upset, we talk about it. And it's just very natural. It's not like organized. We just talk, and we're very open with each other. And I love that about the team that we have right now. And this is the other thing that's so cool about this time is we bonded. We have bonded over being Lucy and Ethel. We have bonded over figuring out the pricing and the menu and the packaging. And, oh, I need to charge more for this because I'm losing money. And it has bonded us. And who would have thunk that this virus would have a positive impact?
That's, I mean, again, that's beautiful. It's like it brought you closer together, that communication and being like in the trenches. It sounds like it really helped them learn also some of the things so that they're like working right there next to you and seeing what you have to go through, right? You're all in it together.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is I'm learning that my team has amazing wisdom and skill and perseverance that I didn't know that they had prior to this. And I have a lot of respect and gratitude for them being in my life, in our business. And I've always said this, I cannot do this by myself. There's no way. And fortunately, we have this great team and we can get some stuff done. And our little army can get some big stuff done. And that's because we're all alike. I think like people are attracted to each other. And we have a cohesiveness that we didn't have before.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. I mean, I think they feel the difference. If you're listening to them and they know that they are respected and appreciated, and most people are willing to work that much harder and definitely be a little bit more loyal and appreciate you back. So that's great job. Like just working with your team and building this business. Like we said, like the airplane, you're trying to fly it and build it at the same time. You're like, let's see where this goes. But so far, you're doing okay.
We're doing okay. We really are. We're still standing. I still have employees. We have no closing in sight. And, you know, I take a lot of pride in that. And I believe part of that is due to the fact that when I was in Athena, I did everything that was suggested. I felt like these people are spending their free time to come help me. I better help myself. So every time I had a meeting, I would show up with, this is what I've done. And they taught me. And because they taught me, our finances are better. Our infrastructure is better. And we are weathering this storm, albeit blowing around. We're holding on. We are holding on to that. I have a visual of a palm tree in the rest of, you know, just holding on to that tree, you know, and we're going to be okay. And we're going to come out of this better. And I'm just grateful. At this moment, I'm grateful. And that seems to go too. I don't want to come off sounding like I got it all together, because I don't, but I'm learning. And that's a cool thing too, because I am not the same person when I started this business. How I talk to people, how I view people, how I take care of myself, everything is different, and it's a growing process. And I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with that today. As long as I keep going the right direction and growing in the right direction. And I always want to better myself.
You've given us so many of those nuggets of wisdom and things that you've learned along the way. That vulnerability and just appreciation really comes through for your clients, for certainly your staff, and for your family, everybody who's helped you along the way. So thank you for being here with us today. It's been wonderful talking with you. And if anyone's interested, and certainly please check out Kim's recipes, her food through Pearson's Catering and the Pickup Gourmet. You can find her at www.pearsonscatering.com. And I would highly recommend it. So check her out. And if any of you are going through a period of transition and you're just looking to be able to infuse more energy and creativity into the work that you do and really play to your strengths, then reach out and just have a conversation. Let's have a call. So be well and thank you.
Thank you, Alicia.